Oh shit, fire. Hey Gary, folks, Lester here. Happy Sunday. Now, of course, you won't see this until a little bit later, probably Monday or Tuesday. But just so you all know, Gary's doing wonderful. He's still here in the front pasture, along with Tex and Waylon. The feed buggy is empty. It needs to be refilled next week. I've already put that order in, and so we'll take care of that next week. Our plans are to rotate the feed buggy back and forth between pastures. A day on, a day off. So the day on for the bulls will be the day off for all the cows out back. The day on for the cows out back will be the day off for the bulls. You see I've put a couple of feed troughs over here where I've dropped off some hay and a little bit of grain. Yeah, that didn't last long. They've tossed those things all over the place, which is fine. That's what they do. But I'm real happy the bulls are still staying put. They are constantly walking this fence line and looking over at the ladies, which I don't see the ladies right now, but I'm sure Tex is not letting them out of his sight. You all know he's making sure he keeps a check on them all. I'm also going to say something to you that you might already kind of figured out on your own, but the reason that Tex and Waylon would not stay put when I separated them last time is the fact that I had left little Gary with the ladies. Now today, or this time around, we've brought little Gary over with the bulls. So even though Tex and Waylon would like to be out with the ladies, they don't feel like they have to go out there because they know there's no other bulls around. And Prince Willie Joe doesn't count. Not yet, anyway. Now listen, this is gonna lead me into telling you an idea that I have, and I'm going to gauge your reaction to it, but it's not going to do a whole lot to influence my decision, my ultimate decision making. And what I'm basing my decision on is the fact that I see a lot more than you do. And I'm not saying that in a disrespectful or a mean way, but guys, Jamie and I are here several hours a day, twice a day. And so we do see a lot more than what you guys sometimes are able to in a short 5 or 10 minute video. All right. So listen and hear me out and allow me to kind of talk my way through this. And I will absolutely read every comment the way I always do. But friends, there's not a whole lot you can do or say that's going to alter the decision that we're going to make in regards to little Gary. All right? Oh boy, here goes nothing. Actually, here goes everything. You know, here's the sad thing about it. I want to make you happy. I do. I think every creator would like to know they have a very happy and content audience. Those that take the time to follow the channel. You put up with all the annoying ads. You know, you help us make an income without having to go out and have a 9-to-5 job the way most of you guys have. We're able to video what we do every day, be it some kind of farming or ranching or gardening or whatever the video creator does for a living or for video content. And so you want to make sure you have an audience that understands you and agrees with you and supports you. And it seems like 9 times out of 10, when we have controversial decisions, it's always rough at first. And it takes a little while before people finally realize, you know what, I guess that wasn't so bad after all. And I'm certainly hoping that what I'm about to tell you right now is something that you'll all be able to understand and jump on board with. All right, with that being said, it's time to get right into it. Y'all stick with me here. Everyone knows that Jamie and I have always tried to make decisions in the best interest of the animals. Sometimes that's not been easy decisions, but we really do strive to give the animals their best life, even though what we end up doing does not always align with what we would like to see. In saying so, everyone knows that little Gary has a place in his heart for Jezebel. This is Jezebel right here in front of us. Now, Jezebel is a registered and full-blooded Longhorn. However, Jezebel has a baby whose name is Trinity, looks just like her, who is not a longhorn. The details are sketchy, and the former owners of Jezebel have jumped back and forth on who and what and where. So I'm not even going to go with any of their stories anymore. We've moved way past that. What I do, though, have are papers on Jezebel, and then we have this beautiful Trinity, who we love very much, her daughter. But we know that Trinity is not a longhorn. So what I would like to do is take Trinity, who's not a longhorn, along with Jezebel, who is a longhorn. Jezebel has already been bred, more than likely, because Trinity is in fact several months old. That means that Jezebel has already come in heat several times, and she will be bred, in fact, by now. More than likely to Tex, but possibly Waylon, doesn't matter. So any future offspring will be longhorn. I would like to take Jezebel and Trinity, both, with little Gary, to the pastures at the sanctuary there in Plum Grove. Everyone knows that we have 3 very large pastures, 2 of which have a pond. And we need an animal or animals to maintain that grass. If we don't, those pastures are going to grow up into all kinds of brush and weeds and things that you cannot allow to take over a pasture. I think that by taking little Gary, along with his best friend, his only friend, Jezebel, along with her best friend and only friend, Trinity, that's a little black and white calf over there, take the 3 of them to the sanctuary property, into the back pastures. That will do a couple of things for everybody. For little Gary, it will make him feel like he has a friend, and he is in fact a herd bull. It'll make him feel that way. It'll empower him to know that he no longer has to compete with other bulls for the affection of a lady, even though we also know that little Gary more than likely will never be able to produce children of his own. Little Gary's injured, you all know that. He will forever have an injury that will keep him and prevent him from reproducing. And so whenever Jezebel has her calf this next time around, we know that that calf will be a longhorn. That calf will stay with her for a while and eventually make its way back over here. We may even bring her along with calf to get bred again if, and I say if, we're ready for that. Trinity will live out the rest of her days at the sanctuary. The reason I don't mind separating Trinity and her mom later is because Jezebel will have a new calf. She will have already weaned Trinity, and she'll have a new calf that she can raise here with all of the longhorns. That will leave little Gary and Trinity alone at the sanctuary to be their own little family. Little Gary will eventually learn to love Trinity. Trinity will love little Gary. I know I sound like talking about a daytime TV show, y'all. I'm so sorry. But that will help us with our grass situation. It'll help us with our little Gary getting picked on by Tex and Waylon. It'll help us, keep Trinity and her mom together for a while. And of course, that will be a forever home for Waylon. No, I'm sorry. It'll be a forever home for little Gary and sweet Trinity. I'm not concerned with Moses making his way across into the pastures because, like I said, Trinity is way too young. She's only a few months old. Jezebel is already bred. So, I'm going to pause for a second and let you think about what you're going to say. Think hard about what you're going to say, and then I'll go on to the 3rd section and the final section of this particular video. The thing that I worry about with the Plum Grove property is that those pastures are prone to flooding. What that means is if we ever get a storm or heavy enough rains to where we drop so much water and we find out that the river's going to in fact be on the rise, we will have to make a trip over with our trailer, load Gary, Trinity and Jezebel and move them off the, off the pastures. We already know the magic numbers. We know the numbers are, as far as the projections, are very accurate, and we know what numbers we have to be aware of as far as how high the water is going to rise. That'll put a little bit of strain on us as far as our worry factors of what could happen. Little Gary can never be trapped off because he'll be in the pastures that allow him access to the barns. He'll have his very own shelter, his own fresh water. A second concern is the fact that Jamie and I are not there every single day. But cows who have access to grass, hay, and grains, they don't need a babysitter necessarily. They don't need someone to watch over them and babysit them. So even if I only go by 3 times a week, which is about what I do now, every Saturday, every Sunday, and at least one day during the week on most weeks, which is probably going to be about a Wednesday, that will give me a chance to kind of check up on Gary and make sure that all's going fine for him, Trinity, and Jezebel. Ellie and Megan have absolutely no problem with dropping over a bucket or a scoop of grain in the afternoons for the 3 cows. Do Ellie and Megan do they like larger animals? No. But they'd be doing that as a favor to me. The sanctuary has always been the home to the rescues. Even though right now we have animals that are, some are rescued, some are not, who are kind of dispersed around all 3 properties. Taking little Gary to the sanctuary is kind of in itself a testament to what the sanctuary has always stood for. A sanctuary, y'all, a farm animal sanctuary, a safe place. The sanctuary would offer little Gary his safest, his healthiest life. Taking him by himself would be sad. Taking him with his best friend, along with her daughter, to me makes logical sense. Do I like the fact of seeing one of my longhorns taken back to the sanctuary? No, I'd like them to all be together. Do I like the fact that we've all come to see little Gary here in the pastures and watching him, living his best life? Will I miss little Gary on a daily basis? Absolutely. But I'll also know that he's living his best life. So what I want to ask you to do is think for a minute and take yourself out of your position as just a viewer of the channel and someone who likes to see little Gary when we drive around. And imagine what little Gary goes through every time Tex gets into a bad mood and uses little Gary as his punching bag. You can't take Tex away, y'all. We're not going to neuter Tex or Waylon. And even if we do decide to neuter little Gary once he's healthy enough, it's going to be a long time before Tex and Waylon ever see him as a non-threat. My friends, that's what I want to talk to you about. I will absolutely read every comment. I'm going to ask you that no matter what you decide or what you choose to say, you find a respectful and polite way to say it. We're not idiots. We love what we do. We love the babies we do it with. Your opinion may be different than mine. Your perspective is different than mine. And that's fine. It's the world that we live in, different perspectives. But I would love to hear your thoughts. No one needs to blow sunshine up my ass, as they say. I'm not here to look for compliments and how wonderful and all that kind of stuff. I would really want to keep this geared to what's in Gary's best interest. I'll say one last little thing before I let you go. One last little thing. If you're still with me, let me say one last thing. I wish I were at the Plum Grove property to be able to show you the pastures I'm talking about in relation to where Moses is kept. That's my dad's bull, along with Jake's cows. There's a DMZ between Jake's property and my property. There's also a back fence that makes it to where little Gary and Moses, along with Trinity and Jezebel, will never be able to rub faces. They can never rub noses. Moses would have to break through 2 different fences to make his way over to our pastures. Even if he ever does, the only cow he'd be able to breed would be Trinity. Now, would that bother me if Moses breeds Trinity? Not necessarily. There's plenty of grass to eat. Trinity Trinity's child could still live its best life there as well. It would also be a mixed breed cow, which would not do us any good, but it would be a grass eater. I just realized I've been chewing gum this whole time, and I'm wondering how many people are going to get onto me for chewing gum while making a video. Well, anywho, guys, I guess the last thing I'll say, I don't foresee Moses trying to fight with little Gary, even if little Gary does get into our pasture. And like I said, once Jezebel has her baby, she'll be coming back. She and baby will be coming back here together. Our goals are to have 25 female cows living on this 25 acres here in the back property. Everyone knows that the Longhorns are not a part of the sanctuary necessarily. They're not a part of the rescue. They are a part of my retirement. I would absolutely love to talk to you about my retirement, not in this video, but to show you how it's all going to work out eventually whenever social media runs its course and we no longer have a presence or an ability to make money off of social media. That is for a different video, friends. All right, with all of that being said, I know I've probably left a lot of things out. I can't wait to talk to you more about it and hear your thoughts. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for being understanding and sensitive to the animals' needs along with our needs, our wants, our desires. And, all right, well, we love you. You make life funner and gooder. And never think that little Gary's going to go away. Little Gary has become a part of our life. Did we go out looking for little Gary? No. Did we go trying to find a rescue in little Gary? No. Did we find a bull who needed love and a home and a lot of vet care? Absolutely. Do I think that we saved a life when we found little Gary? Absolutely. 100%. Do I regret anything with little Gary? No. My biggest regret is knowing that every day he's being, I don't want to say tormented, because he's not tormented. But what he is doing every day is having to keep his head on a swivel, watching out for that guy right there. Oh, I love that guy right there. But little Gary gets along great with Waylon for now. But he honestly does have to always be on the lookout and sometimes caught having to run away from Tex. All right, friends, there's a lot to think about. Thank you all for watching. We love you so much. We'll see you in the next video.
Don't let your troubles fester. Come watch Longhorn Lester.
Yeah, something like that.